All right, good afternoon. Nate Marton, DPW Commissioner in the City of Buffalo. Just talk a little bit about the snow that's coming. You know, we're into winter now. We've had a couple events already hit the city, so we've got another one scheduled for tonight and tomorrow over the next day or so. We just hung up with the National Weather Service a few minutes ago. They're indicating right now preliminarily, depending on where those winds are and how that shifts, that the city, downtown might expect an inch or so, and South Buffalo, 4 inches. We know it's Buffalo, so we're prepared for that amount, but we're also prepared for significantly more, just in case that band shifts a little bit higher. So we've been in contact with our partners at the county and the state. I just talked with the state a little bit ago from resources that they would have available if needed. And we don't have a state of emergency declared by the governor at this point in time, but needless to say, the state would help and step in if needed. So we've had those conversations. They're prepared for that. We've also had contractor conversations, our own contractors. We've got some of those on standby as well. We'll probably bring some of those in the overnight hours, early hours as the snow hits, just to make sure that we're hitting those that snow. It's going to be a 2 to 3 inch rate per hour is what we're hearing. So if that band slides up a little bit out of Lackawanna into South Buffalo, we'll get some significant amounts of snow that we'll need some clearing with. So we're prepared from the city side. Behind me is our salt pile. We've been filling that back up the last couple of days, and we've got some more delivery coming tomorrow. I think we're about 2,500 tons right now, so in good shape with the salt. So contractor-wise, we're in good shape. State routes, again, they'll turn on their beats if we need to. Been in contact with the schools. They're still evaluating what they're going to do tomorrow. Again, that's a school decision, but we've been in contact with their operating officer. He and I speak regularly. And then National Weather Service, like I said, we've been in coordination with, and then also National Grid. So they don't expect any outages coming from this storm at this point in time. They're going to have their crews on standby, but based on some of the wind events that they've had recently, they think they'll be in pretty good shape on this one. So I think with that, I'll open it up if anybody's got any specific questions.
How many plows will you have out and crew members working in this couple-day period?
Yeah, so we're gonna max out all of our equipment on the streets as much as we can. So we've had some that have gone down since the winter started. We're trying to turn those around, but we've got a base number out now. We have a 7 o'clock shift change or 11 o'clock shift change where we'll add up that number, and then 3 a.m. is where we really max out our staff and our equipment. So most of that will be focused on South Buffalo, right where that snow's coming. If it shifts, we'll move our equipment around to meet that, but we want to be where the snow is ultimately initially.
Do you plan on pre-salting like tonight, or when will that start?
Yeah, we held off a little bit. It's a good question on pre-salting based on some rain that might have been expected today. It's a little bit wet out there, little sprinkles, so we didn't want that salt down to melt ahead of the snow. So, maybe around dinner time, we're thinking we'll start getting that salt pretty heavy out there. But yes, we will be certainly.
With the last snow event, there was some problems where residents were saying that their road was plowed but not salted. Are we going to increase the salting, or what are we doing there?
Yeah, no, we're definitely hitting all those. So on some of those streets where we're not able to get around as quickly, traffic and just regular flow packs that down. So once you get that snowpack, it's hard to get there. So even if putting salt down, you may not necessarily see it. So, but we'll be hitting salting all over the place. And then as that storm rolls, we'll be getting everywhere we can for sure.
And then the map too for the snowplows, that's all updated?
Yeah, the snow map is functional. We just had I asked them to reset it this afternoon, so we had fresh data going into tonight. So that should be in good shape.
Can you talk about that process of making a decision, deciding to go from downtown Buffalo, South Buffalo, since that's the primary area getting hit?
You mean in terms of our equipment?
Yeah. I guess both, just like determining how you guys go down there.
Yeah, I mean, we're really going to be pretty active looking at the weather, right? So you hear the forecast, you see what they're predicting, and then Mother Nature gives what Mother Nature gives. And so we'll adjust. So tonight at 11, actually, our crew's going to meet here tonight. I might come in at 11 with our senior leadership, see where the snow is, see what the new radar is projecting, see if there's any new forecasts. We'll call the National Weather Service for an update, and then adjust accordingly. That's what we do for every snowstorm. You plan to what you think you might get, and then you shift when you need to.
Any advice for the residents? Do they rush to the grocery store right now, or what?
I think the message to residents is be prepared. Always be prepared heading into winter. So, this storm in parts of Western New York, you're going to get a lot of snow. So when those high snow totals are coming down on an hourly basis, 2 or 3 inches, I advise you not to drive. It could be dangerous for you. The wind's going to be blowing, so hunker down for a bit. If you can't get some supplies, we don't think it's a long-lasting, snow band. It's going to come in and out pretty quick, but where it sets up, you'll get some heavy snow. So be careful, be prepared, and then drive slow. Give room to fellow drivers and plow drivers especially.
And can you clarify how you plan to work with Erie County and the Thruway Authority working together?
Yeah, so from a county perspective and the state DOT, so Thruway Authority really handles those routes on their own, but state resources and county resources, they will come and assist us as needed and when we coordinate that. So we've been in contact with the Commissioner of Public Works, Bill Geary, and John Cogswell, their senior operations person at the state, to bring those resources in. They're on the ready. We don't think we'll need to make that call, but we're ready if we need to.
And garbage services tomorrow.
Yeah, we're garbage services will go on as scheduled tomorrow, certainly. So we're going to be prepared to pick up garbage as if it lands as projected. So
Tomorrow morning, you guys preparing for it to pick up a little bit?
we're going to prepare for it to pick up overnight, right? So we're kind of gearing towards a higher level of snowfall. Again, we're not doubting the weather service, but we know what happens to the lake. That wind shifts a couple degrees, and we're in a different situation in the city. So we're going to prepare tonight. And again, overnight, if we've got to make a big call to even ramp up some outside contractor resources, we can do that as well.
Brain, you good?
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Nate.
Thanks, Nate. Appreciate
All
it.
right.